Welcome to my church. I want to show you how I am running the FM3 and the FC6 together. So again, I'm using just the FM3 and the FC6 for all the songs this morning. So I'm running individual presets, one preset per song, and I'm using the OMG9 layout, which you can get, I'll link below, you can get it from Fractal. So this is what it looks like at my feet. So I've got the FM3, the FC6, and the expression pedal. This is how this works. This says presets, this says scenes, this says effects. So pressing on a button here will change what's laid out here. So when I hit this preset button, you can see if you hold it, it pops you into the tuner. You hit the preset button, you get your presets laid out. So here's We Praise You, King of My Heart, Holy Spirit. Those are the three songs we're running today. So you go to preset mode, you pick a preset, We Praise You. Then you can hit the scenes button and you see all the different scenes, or in this case, the song section. So I've got intro, riff, verse A, verse B. They're backwards. This should say A, this should say B, but chorus, bridge, and then like the bridge build section. And when you get out of this song, you come back and hit presets, then you can go to the next one, King of My Heart. So it comes in on swells, chorus 1, verse 1, chorus 1, chorus 2, bridge build, bridge big, solo. Come back out here, presets, hit Holy Spirit, go to the scenes button, and you got the different sections of this song. There's just 4 swells, clean, ambient, turn and rhythm, and then solo. Another thing about this layout that's kind of difficult to get to is a tap tempo. So if you want access to a tap tempo, you would have to sort of customize it. You can get to it, but you have to, like, I'll show you, you have to hold the more menu down. So like on the scenes button here, if you press and hold, it says more, and then you get to the other layer of scenes, and there's your tap right there. For me, that's not really a big issue because each preset has tempo built into it, and it's the tempo for the song that's synced to the multi-track that we're playing. So I have not tapped my tempo in a long time, which is nice because it's less to do, and tapping that button makes a lot of noise too. So this works really well for me, and it's easy to customize these layouts to make it work better for whatever you specifically want to do. So another question you might ask, do you have to compromise as far as like effects, how many effects you can use, and the DSP limitations using the FM3 versus like AXFX3 or Helix Floor? And while it is true, the FM3 has roughly half of the DSP horsepower of the AXFX3, I don't feel like I'm compromising today. So typically what I do in a single preset would be compression, couple levels of overdrive, and then I also have a button that I always have a button that turns the gain on the amp up and down, which gives you another level of drive. 2 or 3 delays, 2 or 3 reverbs, and usually a modulation effect like chorus. Today I'm using chorus in several songs. And I'm able to get that all in a single preset in the FM3. If you want to see more about how you can maximize it, I have done a video, I'll link it below, where it's like how much can you put in a single FM3 preset. I'm pretty impressed, and I don't feel like I'm compromising based on what I can do with AXFX3 or Helix Floor. You can do more in an AXFX3 or Helix Floor single preset, but and I consider myself a pretty effects intensive user, so I don't feel like I'm compromising. There is one thing though that I'm not able to do with the FM3 today, at least the way I have the presets set up, and that is pitch effects. So for AXFX3 I will often, and in Helix too, I will often have like a pog type of a sound or a shimmer type of a sound. So shimmer I use a lot for like swells. Pog stuff I use often for lead lines. I'll do an octave down and an octave up, and I don't have the DSP in a single preset to have this. You can have it, but you just have to remove something else, and I really feel like I don't have anything I can remove. Everything I've got in each of these patches is sort of essential, so I don't really have room for the pitch stuff that I do sometimes. I will say I'm not really missing it that much. I don't feel like it's not an essential part of my sound that I feel like I have to have. But if it is for you, it might be a situation where if you had an FM3, you might want to get an octave pedal to go with it, or a pitch pedal to go with it, like a Pog or a Pitchfork or something like that. All right, so I'm going to try and show you a little bit of how this sounds. If you've watched any of the FX3 or FM3 videos here on the at Worship Tutorials, you know how this thing sounds. It sounds excellent. I'm going to try and just kind of give you a few samples of the live stream mix that my church is doing today. This is just going to be what they put on YouTube, so this has been processed and processed again and then processed again by YouTube. So, but hopefully it'll give you a little bit of a representation of what you can do with this thing.
Let praise be a weapon as he rise. Let praise arise. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. You're never gonna let me down. You're good, so good. Nothing worth more. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. Let us become more aware of your...
So another thing I like about this setup is how clean it is. If you check this out, it's a lot of times I'll have an FX3, so like there's this big rack unit over here. With the FM3 and the FC-6, it's just sitting here at my feet. I've seen people ask questions about what kind of board should I get to mount the FM3 and the FC6 on. Personally, I'm not a fan of putting these units on a board, so I like just having them in front of me on the floor. And so you can kind of arc them in a semicircle here too, which is cool. All right, so we made it through the Sunday, 2 full services. The FM3 with the FC6 worked great. There are a few takeaways that I had. One is I did not feel like I had to compromise anything as far as what I typically do with the FX3 or with the Helix floor. Those are the two, systems that I'll typically use on a Sunday morning. Another takeaway is the way that the OMG9 layout is. For me to switch between presets, I had to do a bit more tap dancing than I'm used to. I had to hit the preset button, then hit the preset, then go back to the scenes button. So I think what I might do, if I use the FM3 more live, which I think I might do, what I probably do is adjust that layout a little bit so that on the FM3 itself I get a preset up and down button, and then I can just stay in the scenes the whole time. I think that would work better for me, which is a pretty easy thing to do, to customize it to what, if you're gonna run this type of a setup, it's easy to customize it so that it works perfectly for your needs specifically. So big takeaway is, worked great, didn't feel like I had to compromise at all. The tones that I was getting were exactly what I would get out of the FX3. One other note that I'll make is the FM3 only allows you to run 1 amp at a time. FX3 and Helix, you can run 2 amps in stereo, which is great. But I was actually talking with a friend of mine this week. I rarely run 2 amps together on a Sunday. I find that I'm most often, for most of the songs, I'm running 1 amp in a preset. And I actually feel that when I run 2 amps and I pan them hard left and right, that I feel like I don't really sit in the mix as well as when I run 1 amp. Now that could be, you know, I just need to EQ the amps differently, or maybe I'll run 2 amps but not pan them. But that was just my experience. So running just 1 amp in the FM3 made it, I didn't feel like I was missing out by not having the ability to have that second amp. But if 2 amps in stereo is important to you for your needs, then something like Active X3 or Helix is going to be better for you for that application. But for me today, FM3 FC6 worked perfect. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.